Hello, we are finally to step 6 of the global issues problem-solving process. This is Jill Slinker of the Indiana Association of School Principals. I'm the Director of Student Programs, and we're here with Marion Rutledge, who is going to take us through step 6.
You'll remember we left off step 5 by identifying that solution 4 was our best one. It had the star by it. That obviously is important for step 6. That's the one the team will be writing about. As a team, they're going to try to sell this idea. They're going to realize that if it's not implemented, it won't impact the future scene and make a difference. So they have to convince an important group to do just that. It's a great way for them to show their creativity, and this is where your good writers are going to come in, because they have to sell it in a documented format. The team can talk about extra details they want to add. It's supposed to be more than what they wrote in their actual step 3. They are now going to be telling many more details, and everything they can that would be a positive is going to help. That they can do it they can just write it out. That's one way. And that's what teams tend to do the first time. But they don't have to. It could be a persuasive letter to someone in a particular organization that has the power to implement. It could be a committee report that they are submitting to an organization, an interoffice memo. Kids love to do a hologram. They think that is the newest thing. And it can be as routine as a newspaper article, as long as it has the information, or an interview with a reporter. That will work as well. So they come up with a style that they're going to use for their step 6. The who can be, as we mentioned earlier, a certain group of people. It can be an agency. It can be a group that has the responsibility for carrying out the solution. They're going to give more details about that who in this step 6. The what that organization or group is going to do can be expanded upon as well. Scientific, legal, or social conditions that need to be met. Necessary technology that must be developed in order for this to work. How will it be carried out? More detail. Why is it being implemented, which goes with your purpose, and the when and where will remain consistent with your UP. Some other things to put in. What obstacles might arise? Who are the resistors? How could you overcome them? What sources of assistance might be willing to help you? You want to describe how it's going to change the future scene. What will be the benefits? You want to explain why it's a humane one. It's going to do more good than negative. And there's also an extra page. You have 2 pages, 11 and 12, for writing this out, for your action plan to be written out. Then you have a 3rd page, 13, which is a place for you to do pro-con charts, graphs, tables, maps, diagrams, or a timeline for implementation. Those ideas will be considered by the evaluator in your score for how well you elaborated to further develop that solution. So, hopefully you remember that Monterey family that is trying to have safe drinking water, but the team has to come up with extra details now, remember? The best way for our family to have safe drinking water during the 2 months we'll be living in Monterey is to stay in the American resort that is conveniently located in the city. They really liked the device for Eli Lilly, but they realized it wasn't their best on their grid. So what would be the best? This is what they came up with. The resort already provides clean, filtered water for the entire facility. There are 3-bedroom cottages available for a short-term lease at the resort, so it will be easy to arrange summer housing for our family of 4. Extra information. Dad's company will pay for our living expenses, which means this solution is a cost-effective option for us. How will you pay for your solution? We can buy bottled water to take on short trips for sightseeing and shopping. Now that we have a plan to help us stay healthy, our family is looking forward to learning about the people and culture of Mexico. End on a positive. The example from the senior division looks different. They created a website, gettingthemout.com. And when you go to websites, you always have things that you can, links to click. The one is home, okay, it tells the purpose. Our biosensors are proven to help plants transition into new environments. We have tested them in biodomes simulated with different climates. The biosensors are eco-friendly because they run off solar power, extra information. They also don't harm any wildlife in the area. Depending on the types of threats detected, the sensors use different species-specific ways of getting them out. Kind of clever alliteration. About us. We created a biosensor that will be able to detect the height, length, and molecules of any organism in front of it. Using the height, length, and the molecules, the biosensor will know what organism it is. If there is a threat to the calamite species, a loud sound will scare the predator away. Again, we didn't have that when they wrote step 3. Our partners, another addition. We partner with Global Crop Diversity Trust to bring our sensors to the Santa Elena Cloud Forest Reserve in Costa Rica. Here, our sensors are being used to help protect the calamite species, which had been extinct for 300 million years. Another sister. The World Health Organization also helps pay for the cost of the biosensors through donations. But the next page, they realize that everything's not perfect. There are some pros and cons. What are the pros? The predators are not harmed. A sound scares them away. Biosensors are environmentally friendly. They mentioned the solar power. 3 years of research, development, and testing that have been done in order to make sure that the sensors work. There are cons, but they tried to deal with them, which is going to help their score. The biosensors are expensive, but our sponsors cover part of the cost. The biosensors can only sense 30 different species at this time, but we're continuing to develop sensors for new species every day. Perhaps that's going to be something that's necessary in the future. I think you can see, you can be creative. You can just write it out, or you can be a little more creative in your step 6.
One of the things that I find interesting in this step 6 is they really do show futuristic thinking with the biosensors. You know, technology is a way to show futuristic thinking, but they didn't just say, we're going to magically invent this technology. They used the science, they used the research to show that they were thinking toward the future to figure out what could be possible at that point.
And applying it to this particular situation.
Yes, that's very important in answering the question and putting the future scene together, and putting their action plan together. At state this year, we will have one of the competitions is that we saw at the international conference is called the Presentation of Action Plan, which is incredibly fun. This is a very creative activity where they take their action plan that they created, and then in a skit, some sort of a creative concept with props that we indicate that you have to use, and then a list of props that you can use and bring to state. You're going to present that to the judges in as creative and entertaining a manner as possible.
And that does influence the way they vote on their best solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they say, we want one that will make a much more interesting presentation for the skit competition.
Yes.
So they will start thinking about that in the ranking situation. And
criteria, how
yes, they're not writing that one down. They're not writing it down, but they're thinking it because they do want to sell that idea and they know that the more creativity they use, the more likely it's going to work.
And we do want to offer our teams this opportunity because this is a required element at the international conference. And we want them to have experience doing that and thinking those concepts up quickly before they enter that international competition.
Exactly.
So we're looking forward to some really interesting times.
I think so.
Well, thank you for making your way with us through all 6 of these steps. We hope you enjoy the problem-solving process. If you have questions, please get them to the office, address them to jslinker@iasp.org. And if I don't know the answer, I know people who do. Thank you for listening.